2018, y'all.
Yes, you got to be excited. The best part of 2018 is black men now have a new king, somebody we can call him a champion. Now, you guys told me about Lawrence and how he was a champ, but Marvin Lewis has managed to do what every black man has always wanted to do. He has kept his job and did not perform it. He has shown up to work and was just like, hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Like
he even tried to quit beforehand just to hedge his bets.
And, yeah, he was really just faking everything. He's like, now let me go ahead and win these last 2 games. If I can eliminate 2 people from the playoffs, I keep my job. That's all I got. The bare minimum. I just envision him holding his son like, come here, son, let me show you how to do the bare minimum and still win. Don't ever get him more than the bare minimum.
This is a civil rights moment. They're going to be talking about this at the NAACP Image Awards.
He'll get a Lifetime Achievement Award this year.
For mediocrity.
Marvin Lewis, 125 career wins. No playoff wins. But he has done the unthinkable.
200 losses. But
he eliminated the Detroit Lions, who fired their coach, another black man, in the Baltimore Ravens from the playoffs.
Just happened.
There's been 50 different drug convictions on his watch. And yet, he still keeps a job.
Don't forget about the suspensions.
Both brothers have gone to jail under his watch. And yet, he will come back for another 2 years.
Yes.
Now, didn't Pac-Man Jones set up the strip club when he was a Bengal?
Yes, he did. Yeah. He's like Mr. Clark without the bat.
Exactly.
Like he's basically just running a raggedy high school. That's it. Mr. Clark,
You smoke crack, Pac-Man,
don't you? You
smoke crack, Pac-Man, don't you?
Pac-Man.
Shout out to Marvin Lewis, baby.
We don't want another coach. We want Marvin. We want Marvin. We want Marvin.
Marvin.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Basically, he's pretty much the equivalent of OSU's coaches too. Also, like it's the same thing. But we're gonna start the show on that note. All right.
Ouch.
And welcome into the Barber Shop 918. You up in here with your man Big Drew, J Rock.
Boom.
And the one and only Raw Dog. All right, we got a jam-packed show for you today.
What's wrong with you, man?
Packed with jam, baby.
And a little bit of jelly.
Hey, I'm taking my lines, man.
As always, we always hit you with a deep final cut. We're going to get into some Thunda talk. It's been a while, but we still bitter about the Bucks. See, it's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you. See,
Step 2. Think about how many week podcasts you slept through. Time's up. Sorry we left you.
All right, there you go.
Boom! He blew up the mic.
That's right. Shout out to Marvin Lewis.
There you go. And so, in the spirit of Marvin Lewis, and them showing him loyalty, we're going to talk about, is there any more loyalty left in sports? That's our hood topic. Did Marvin get all the loyalty? We also going to talk about college football, what's going on with the bowl games. Somebody over here, what do we call you, Negro Dominus? You got all your picks right, Jay. So,
way to go against your own team, Jay.
Been doing it all season.
Yeah, you have. We're going to talk about in the word on the street, we're going to talk about the Dave Chapelle episode, Will Smith's movie Bright, give you a box office report, as well as talk about the billboards and Jay-Z's new video. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get into the word on the street right now.
Word on the street, it's the sweet one. I like that.
Yes.
Boy, it's good.
Yes.
Good.
I felt it right in here, man. Like right here, sir. Right in the heart.
I didn't even need the help from this time. He been working on his vocals for the last 2
I felt the spirit. It was just like, it was.
All week.
Man.
All week.
Yeah.
Let's hit it.
What you got, Jeff?
All right, the Billboard charts for this week, we got coming in at number 10 is Post Malone Stoney. Coming in at number 9 is Kendrick.
What's the name of that? It's called Stoney? That's the name of the album?
Like Stoney Jackson. It's called Stoney.
Good one, Jay.
Coming in at number 9 is Kendrick Lamar. Damn.
Really?
It's still in the top 10.
Number 8 is G-Eazy, The Beautiful and the Damned. Coming in at number 7, Sam Smith, The Thrill of It All. Number 4 is Eminem, Revival.
Revolver.
Huh?
Is it Revival or Revolver?
Revival.
Okay.
Coming in at number 3 is Honcho Jack, which is Quavo and Travis Scott. They got a mixtape that debuted at number 3.
I don't know the difference between them two.
And number 1, a favorite of Raw Dogs, Taylor Swift. Reputation comes in at number 1.
You can't even say her name right, man. Come on.
We had no business saying those last 3 albums.
You have a point there, sir. Blame that on Jay.
All right, Jay.
And that is our Billboard charts for the week.
So tell us about this video, because to me, I didn't like the video, the Jay-Z video. But then again, I don't listen to the music currently, and so I don't really know the context fully. Tell me why it's a good video, man.
Okay, Jay-Z released a new video off of his 440 album, Family Feud. It has the sample of the Clark Sister song, Oh Yeah, and Beyonce singing on it. But it's pretty much, it's taking place, it's showing like the family tree. Like it took place in the beginning, it has Michael B. Jordan. It's like 2836, so it's showing like the children as they get like from the family tree. As you know, Beyonce and Jay-Z have 3 kids, showing like the offsprings of like all the kids. And then it comes back to 2018 when Blue is, her age. So it's just pretty much showing like how all of Jay-Z's kids and how they have all this money in the family feuds because they were having family feuds within each other. It's just showing how they're made up descendants, like their grandchildren, their great grandchildren, and all that, how they just take on the world. So it's like you have to listen to the album to really understand the video. But I like the video. He has a lot of celebrities in it. And that's one thing he's done with this project, is that he's reached out to a lot of African American actors and celebrities to help with the album. Like in the earlier parts when he did the title song, he had, people like my guy Ghost from Power, Will Smith, like different artists and actors, talking about their relationships with their wives. And so it's a good album if you haven't already listened to it. But if you have Tidal, it's good to watch like the backstory to all of the songs that he did on the album, because he has a lot of celebrity involvement with it.
I'm so glad you have Tidal. I'm glad you do.
Yeah.
Does he really though?
Hey man, shout out to my boy Skybox. What's up, baby?
Hey, ain't nobody do Skyboxing like Skybox Chris. I'm putting it out there right now.
It's a tax write-off for him. That's all. It was a charity. He let a peasant play with it for a little while and wrote it off.
And he keeps saying he learned it from me. I was like, sir, I'm not on your level. I am not on your level.
No,
I went to one Thunda game, and I was in some good seats one time. Skybox Chris be at every Dallas Maverick game, don't he?
Yeah, and you had, and the reason why yours looked so elevated was you had on that leather coat. It just automatically, that bumps you up a section. You know what I'm saying? You could have been in Loud City, but that leather coat is not allowed in Loud City.
It's a beautiful leather coat, sir.
It is.
Get your hands off of me, you peasant.
Get your hand out of my pocket.
All right, so it's time for the box office report. Raw Dog, what you got?
Now, it's been a long time since we talked about the movies. To be quite honest with you, ain't a whole lot changed, man. Really? At number 5, we got Ferdinand. That's the animated one with the wrestler from WWE. What's his name, Jay?
John Cena.
John Cena. That's at number 5. Number 4 is a musical, The Greatest Showman, which I would never be interested in because I don't like musicals, unless it's Grease, because I do like Grease. I don't even know. I can't believe I just admitted that. I shouldn't have even said it. Number 3 is another musical, Pitch Perfect 3. Yeah. Number 2, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. I've heard good things about this one. I heard it's really, really funny. It's at number 2, it made $50 million. And of course, at number 1, Star Wars, The Last Jedi, which I saw. Did I tell you how I felt about it, did I? Did I tell you how I felt about it?
No.
I saw this one. I was not impressed at all. I actually fell asleep watching
you did
it.
tell us that, I think.
I thought I did. Yeah, it was real talky. It wasn't a whole lot of action. I just was not impressed at all whatsoever. So, but it's making 50. But it's at the top of the Billboard chart. So I'm not Billboard, but box office charts. It's still killing the game. I just didn't think it was that good of a movie.
Yeah. All right. So
now, movies coming out next week or this week, Friday, January 5th. There's only one movie that I want to see because I'm into scary movies. Insidious. I think this is like the fourth one, The Last Key. Yeah, see, I like the whole Insidious set of movies, whatever. They're really, really good as far as scary movies. They're well done. The director, James Wan, he's also the same guy that did, what's the other one? The, doggone it, about the couple who goes in there and helps the family out. I can't even think of the name of it. It's the, doggone, I can't remember it. What's it called? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
No. Even if we knew we're way too petty to be like, yeah, here's the name. It's like struggle, man. Just keep struggling.
I hang out with you guys.
It's entertaining. Just
But anyway, that is a movie to check out this week. Are you going to ask me something, Drew?
No, that's what I was going to ask you was what was coming out.
If you had a chance to see Bright on Netflix.
Now, I saw Bright, and I saw it after seeing reviews. And so I watched Bright from a tainted point of view, but I still enjoyed it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
How about you? Don't tell me you didn't see it, bro.
I watched 3 minutes of it and I went to sleep. My wife watched it. She liked it.
All right. Well, that counts.
What is wrong with you, Jay?
I once again, I gotta say, I'm really more interested in having her on the show. I really am. Like, I think she could do a better job at this point. Yeah.
Who's this?
Jay's wife.
Wow, man.
I think she should be on the show.
That's messed up, man.
But
my position has changed, brother.
But no, I feel with Bright, I feel like I read the articles and people were telling me, like everyone said that it was one of the worst movies ever made. And so I went into it thinking, okay, this is about to be horrible. So it was actually better than I expected because everyone said it was horrible. And then the other thing was I was pre-told that, check out the racial undertones here. Like, look at what's really going on behind the scenes. And then once I caught on to that, it was like, oh, okay. So the Jewish people are the elves.
Yep.
And
orcs are the blacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's the thing. A lot of us common folk love Bright. It was the critics who didn't like it. They thought that it was too heavy-handed. They thought that it didn't require a lot of imagination. It was terrible, blah, blah, blah. I love the fact that Will went back to the Will Smith that we know. Will went back to the Mike Lowry that we know from Bad Boys. You know what I mean? Will was great in this flick, man. And the mixture of the science fiction and the fantasy, somehow it worked. Probably in lesser hands, if it was a director who didn't know what he was doing, it could have turned into a mess. But somehow it all worked out, and it's already Netflix is already working on the sequel to it. So,
because that is the one criticism I have of the movie was the factor that it did not give me enough backstory of like where did the Brights come from? Like where did these? I want the story. Like in other words, give me a prequel. I want to know.
I think that's what's coming up next.
Yeah, I want to know where they came from, and then I wouldn't even. It really just needs to be a series. I think that's the consensus. Like everyone has told me when I talked to them about it, they would watch it if it was a whole series. But sitting through one movie at a time is going to be a little rough.
I don't know. I disagree. And the only reason why I disagree is because of Will Smith's star power, man. Black folks still like Will, man. They still like Will. Even though Will has taken some questionable moves in the last few years. Anybody remember After Earth? Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's taken some questionable, he's ventured out, but now, you know what I mean? The hood still got love for Will, man. And we can see Will in bright, dark, red, it doesn't matter. As long as Will's playing that character that we love, man, black folks gonna flock to see him, man. He hasn't lost the love from the neighborhood, you know. And a lot of black folks love this movie because it tells our story. We're the orcs or whatever.
Yeah,
that's us.
The police
you know
was beating the crap out of them almost every other scene.
Every other scene.
Yeah, and so I got it. I was watching it, and I was like, okay, it was just generational hate. They addressed that issue, you know, like, I get it. I liked it. I just, like I said, from a movie standpoint, I would prefer it to be a series. But here's the thing. Because if you're going to tell me a backstory, which I feel like I need, Will Smith can't be in that. Because I want to know when they first came to Earth. And that was, like they had described, like 200 years later.
No, you're wrong. He could be in it because they could do the same thing they did with Godfather 2, where they told the story of the original Don while also telling the same story of Al Pacino. They could do it. They could do it like that if they wanted to. How could that not work? That would work.
I mean, yeah. Like I said, for me, it just needs to be a series. That's it.
You can't get Will to do a series
exactly.
ever again.
Yeah. Now, but if this is a setup, all this was a setup to give us a series, I would entertain that series based off what I got. But at this point, you're right. You seen Will in it, and you're gonna want Will.
You're gonna want Will.
Yeah.
Will still get a lot of love at the barbershop, baby. He's Will Smith. He's the Fresh Prince, no matter what.
All right. So in TV news, more things are going on. Basically, let's stick with Netflix. We got the Dave Chapelle special. And this is the last one, so it fulfills his deal with them. And it's 2 parts. The first part, pretty much typical of what we expect from Dave Chapelle. Nice, clean setup for like the punchlines. You know, it was good. Overall.
It was real good.
Yeah,
very funny.
But the second one, still funny, but took people on more of an emotional roller coaster. What's your take on it, especially from a comedian standpoint?
What I liked about it is it was uncomfortable. And to me, real comedy makes you uncomfortable. Real comedy ain't supposed to make you feel good about it. I take that back. Some comedy does. But if it's like raw comedy, because comedy really is a cousin of tragedy. They go together. You know what I mean? Comedy allows people to deal with tragedy in the best way possible by making you laugh. So the second one was a lot more uncomfortable. He touched on some real serious subjects, and literally he was just going off the top of the dome. You know what I mean? It was almost like freestyle comedy, and he said some things that I think he's probably gonna get some flack over. But he doesn't do safe comedy. He does uncomfortable comedy. And he comes from a long line of people like Richard Pryor, Lenny Bruce, these folks that are not scared to go there. He talked about, the women who all come forward against, all these men in the industry. He had a very, very different take on it, because he literally compared that movement with black folks movement.
Yeah.
And say, okay, I get what y'all talking about, but look, y'all really ain't suffered like we have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that made some folks in the audience, if you checked it made some folks in the audience uncomfortable. Because in the beginning, it was all fun and games. Towards the end, it was like the nervous laugh. The nervous white folks laugh.
So
yeah.
What he's done, and he's got, like, right now, he's teamed up with John Mayer. And so when you want to go see Dave Chapelle, it's a John Mayer ticket too. And you go to the concert, you have to put your phone in a bag. So he's been doing that over the past few months. And I don't know how many more shows are left on the tour, but basically you got to lock up your phone. That way you can't, because you think about it, he's been talking about this crazy stuff, and that would have hit TMZ or something by now. And so with that factor, when you got a John Mayer concert, you got a demographic of people who are basically, they feel safe in going there, and now he's got them trapped in this room, and he's making them uncomfortable. He's like, he's giving them the James Baldwin, like, intellectuals wanted to go see James Baldwin speak, and then boom, he hit him with the, like, now you got to be uncomfortable. So
James Baldwin's that cat, boy.
Yeah. So that's pretty much, I like what he's doing, because if this is his final hurrah, he's basically, that last stand-up basically said, if this is all y'all get, that's all y'all got. But whatever you'll get is what I'll get, is what I want to give you from now on.
I like the way at the end where the way he explained why he left the Chappelle show was he took a whole excerpt out of Iceberg Slim.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, he told the whole excerpt about, how the pimp was able to keep his bottom girl. And then at the end he said, okay, so that's it. That's pretty much why I left the Chappelle show. I was like, wow. I had to think about that for a second to see where he was coming from. I was like, okay, I like the way he did that.
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead. What
I was gonna say. Go ahead, Jack.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Drew. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, had I had a job, I would have went in and went off on my boss the next day after watching that.
After it was over with, I was like, that's comedy right there.
Yeah.
That is the reason why Dave said, I gotta stop doing this. I'm too good at it. He says, I'm too good at it. He says, I can go out here and know, yeah, things gonna turn out pretty good for me tonight. And that's how good he's gotten. Much love to the Kevin Harts and everybody else, but they are not on the level of Dave Chappelle.
Not at all. No.
Not at all.
He did get that concept with the cell phones from Kevin Hart, because my boy, he went to the Kevin Hart concert comedy show New Year's Eve, and he said they had everybody put their cell phones in a plastic bag.
It was the other way around. Dave started that, and everybody else followed. Dave started that years ago because he got tired of seeing his material being worked on YouTube. He said, when I go on the road, I'm working my material. I'm trying to get it right. And basically, you're getting my stuff half done. It's not even done yet. So that's when he started doing that. And all the other comedians kind of followed in his tracks because it made sense. You don't want your material on YouTube. So then why are people going to pay to see it if they can see it on YouTube? That's taking money out of your pocket.
I wouldn't pay for it. So,
Drew wouldn't pay for it. And Drew's the pettiest one in here.
White Famous was canceled, Jay. After you guys...
Jay. No, Jay.
We didn't see this coming. Oh, my God. We're surprised.
We just seen just like the Marlon show. Marlon. That got canceled as well.
Marlon was a good show. I liked it.
It canceled. It just they didn't bring it back.
They didn't have any Marvin Lewis juice in their system. That's the reason why they got canceled.
Shout out to Marvin Lewis, baby.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Now, that's the first thing we should do. If they ever give us a show, we need to hire Marvin Lewis and put him on the rolling credits, and we'll stay on for years.
For years, sir.
We'll never win the ratings battle, but we will stay on for years.
He's got the glow. He's got that glow.
Stop it. It's stuck in my head.
He's Bruce Leroy.
All right, so it's time for us to talk about college football, man. OU, this has to be brief because we'll say, I'm not saying the bowl game OSU won doesn't count, but let's just say in less than a minute, tell us what happened with the bowl game with OSU, because Jay's got a lot to deal with when we talk about OU.
OSU won. OSU won their bowl game. That's all it needs to be said. It wasn't that exciting of a game, but it was a game, and it had bowl in front of it. Therefore, they won the bowl game. Now, the OU game, on the other hand, was a game that they should have won. They were this close, sir. Baker Mayfield talked a little too much, man. Hubris is a pretty thing, man.
Yeah, those are nice cars. I used to drive a Hubris.
I like the 4-door Hubris.
Yeah.
They got the 8-track in it. Jay, say something, man.
Man, like I said 2 weeks ago, I said OU was gonna lose the game, but no, I'm gonna be honest.
It's your own team. Even if you knew that, why would you say that, man?
Man, I watched the game. I was on the road, but then I went back and watched the game, and it just like I said, OU was clicking in that first half, but they made that mistake of doing that squib kick. You know what I'm saying? If I'm looking at it if I'm a coach, they got one timeout. I kick it to them with 6 seconds left. They're not going to throw a Hail Mary or anything because they're going to take a knee and go to halftime. That field goal changed the whole momentum of the game because they went from being down 31-14, which was 3 scores, to being down 31-17, which is 2 scores. And then they scored 24 unanswered points to get back into the game and take the lead. But like you said with Baker Mayfield, you know, he was just on top of the world. He felt like nobody can stop him. I feel like he started celebrating too early, saying that this game was over. I mean, these men for Georgia, they play in the SEC, and they were hungry, and they played tough. And like we said, Lincoln Riley, I love the guy, I love him as a coach, but he got very Bob Stoopish down the stretch of the game. He got real conservative. He went conservative. I'm like, you have Rodney Anderson who had ran for over 200 yards. Why do you keep running these gimmick plays when this man has ran for 200 yards? Keep feeding the beast. You do an end around to a wide receiver who hasn't played the entire game.
Yeah.
You do a pitch where Baker Mayfield pitched it to the Rodney Anderson. He should have just ran it up the middle. So they got what they deserve. I mean, I'm proud of the effort that they put up all season, but the coaching staff lost that game. Like everybody's talking about fire Mike Stoops and everything. No, the defense did what they could for the time that they were playing, but the offense let them down. And that's the reason why OU is sitting at home now, and Georgia is going home to play Alabama for the national championship now. That's going to be a very interesting game because Alabama, a lot of people didn't expect them to. They said they shouldn't be in there, but Alabama dominated that Clemson team. So now Nick Saban is playing against Kirby Smart, his former defensive coordinator. So it's the teacher versus the student next Monday in Atlanta. I mean, I don't know many people who's going to watch it because a lot of people are not fans of the SEC, but that's what we got to end the season for college football.
Well, fans like you, I don't know how you can have enemies, man.
You want me to keep it real? I keep it real about OU just like I do about my Dallas Cowboys.
No, you don't never keep it real with the Dallas Cowboys, sir.
Speaking of which, it's now time for us to talk about the NFL. Now, since we last was together, the Cowboys have since been eliminated from the playoffs.
Sitting on the couch, baby.
Now, Jay, when the Cowboys are eliminated, you tend to tighten up. We've got a lot of...
Oh, I see you. Okay.
So, Mr. Window, go ahead. Let us know, man. Tell us... Who do you got? Let's go down some playoff scenarios. We ain't even going to talk about how the Cowboys were eliminated. None of us. We don't have to get into any.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, we do care. We care why the Cowboys were eliminated.
How were the Bears eliminated?
Week 6.
Week 1.
Hey, week 1. Week 1, baby, we were eliminated. We ain't talking about the Bears. We're talking about the Cowboys.
I've been sitting on the couch since it was late summer.
You know what? It's good snacks on the couch. Welcome to it, sir.
Jay,
they're there too.
Now, the Bears lost. I mean, the Bears fired John Fox, right?
Yes.
So, and then we've got the dude with the Kango retired down in Arizona.
Bruce Aaron.
Yeah, we've already mentioned that Marvin Lewis is just doing us I'm just proud. So, Marvin's keeping...
I am brimming with pride of Marvin Lewis.
Marvin's keeping his job. So there's a lot of coaching vacancies, man. Do you think that someone's going to come after any of the Cowboys coaching staff? Or you guys feel threatened to wear it?
Jerry Jones is keeping everybody that's major. He's saying that it's nothing to be changed.
Like, keep them there, man.
What's my guy from the Colts? Chuck Pagano, he got fired as well.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't have his star quarterback, so they let him go.
So Chucky is going to get a part ownership stake as well as the coaching job in Oakland. But here's the thing. They gotta follow the Rooney Rule. So basically, this morning John Gruden, it's not Mike and Mike anymore. It's Mike and Trey.
Wingo.
Yeah, Wingo and Golick, whatever. Yeah, so basically he was saying that he did admit that he interviewed for the job, and he was basically like kind of just saying, hey, the search isn't over yet, and that's code for they got to talk to a black guy, and then I'll get the job. So they'll interview Art Shell's nephew or something, and just to say
Art Shell.
Exactly.
Art Shell. That's the second week in a row you mentioned Art Shell.
It just happened.
That's a record. That is a record.
Kashif and chocolate cake. So,
Kashif. That's
Ray
what's missing,
yeah.
We don't miss Ray J at all, sir. We do miss Kashif.
And Yusef Mack. And Uncle Derek.
And Al Jarreau.
In the ghetto El DeBarge, Matt Barnes.
When did we ever mention Al Jarreau?
I tried to sneak that in.
Alexander O'Neal.
There you go.
I tried to stick that in there, man.
So now that we're a visual show, we got to do the Alexander O'Neal challenge where we get real close into the camera.
If you were with me now, oh Lord, look at my eyes, I'm on crack.
Stop traffic with them eyes.
Traffic would never move.
All right, so I done forgot. We're NFL playoff picture. So give it to me, NFC, Jay.
We got the Falcons versus the Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams. Jared Goff and Todd Gurley. There's been a dynamic duo this year. They went from being the worst offense in the league to being the top offense in the league. Shout out to Jeff Fisher for not helping them out last year. And then in the Sunday game, we got the Carolina Panthers playing the New Orleans Saints.
Saints.
I'm going to go with the Saints, man. They've beat the Panthers 2 times this year. I like Cam. I like what he's done this year, but the Saints, they have too many weapons with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara.
Oh, Cam.
Cam for me.
All right, so we're not going to just give me a quick.
Chiefs?
Give me an NFC real quick. Give me an NFC. Go one step further for me in the NFC. Just if that's the matchup, who wins that matchup? You got Saints and Rams. It's just
Saints. No. The Saints. They're the 4 seed, so they will play the. They'll play
Eagles?
the Eagles.
Eagles,
and then Eagles and the Saints. I'm gonna go with the Saints. The Eagles. They lost Carson Wentz. And they've struggled on offense. They were shut out by the Dallas Cowboys in the season finale, 6-0.
Okay. I want to address that then since you brought it up. You know how your kids get mad, like they get in trouble, like everything, they just throwing a fit. And that's pretty much what the Cowboys was out there doing. We ain't going to the playoffs. We ain't going to score. It was the 4th quarter before they had to make them score. Jerry pretty much was like a daddy who got me. You better get out there and do your job.
Score.
It's the equivalent of you taking out the trash and dragging it. Boy, you better pick that trash up. That's pretty much what happened.
Up something at the store, your mama tell you to put it back, and you walk, and you dragging it. Ooh, I hate her.
That's
and
what
you
the
slam it on the counter.
That's essentially what the Cowboys did because the Eagles is like, we don't really care, and the Cowboys like, if we don't care, we don't care, and that was it. It was just a big hissy fit.
There was no soul in that game whatsoever.
No, it was the hissy bowl. That's all it was.
It was the sissy bowl.
I said hissy.
No, hissy bowl.
Hissy. Okay.
Hissy bowl.
Sissy is an old school way of insulting somebody. Like that's nobody uses that anymore. That has no sting anymore.
You a one hissy.
Nobody gets mad at that. All right, let's go to the AFC. What we got?
AFC, we got Jacksonville versus Buffalo. Buffalo snuck into the playoffs.
After 20 years. 20 years.
Now, no. You know what's so funny about Buffalo is if Baltimore would have beat Cincinnati, then Buffalo would have been 1 game short of the playoffs. Now, do you remember the game that they benched Tyrod Taylor for Nathan Peterman? Yeah. And they lost that game?
Yeah.
That would have caused a lot of ruckus if Buffalo didn't make the playoffs for that 1 game.
Trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
That's benching the brother. What they benching the brother for? He ain't doing that.
The brother is the reason why y'all made the playoffs, brother.
Right.
The last time they made the play, the meme, have you seen the meme where it said the last time the Bills made the playoffs? Cash Money was taking over for the 2000. that it's been a long time, and so I really hope they have success. I would love to see them win and go on to what would they play, the Steelers, if they were to win?
They would be the sixth seed, so they would play in New England for a third time this season.
That's not good. Nobody wants to play New England in the playoffs.
Third time's
in Foxborough.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah. I guess they got more intel than anyone else. I mean, if it's the Chiefs playing them, you end up in a situation where we don't really have a good enough sample size because we really beat them down so quickly. We never really got a chance to see.
It was the first game of the year.
Yeah. So the Chiefs.
Are the Titans going to do okay? The Titans going to do okay, Jay? What do you know, sir?
That game is on Saturday afternoon in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. It's going to be a raucous crowd, and that's all I can say about that game, as you know.
Raucous crowd.
Hey, you got family in Kansas City, right?
Yeah, my daddy live in Kansas City.
Right. So you'll have family around the game, is what you're saying? Like, will there be a way that you could possibly go to the game? Because Kansas City is you got family there. It's such a short drive from Tulsa. Just putting two and two together.
Well,
you off on Saturdays.
Well, Big Drew, I thought about that. Meaning that I have family in Kansas City, but you know what? My position has changed at my job, and I'm on call this weekend, so I cannot attend the game this weekend.
Okay. All right.
But if I wasn't on call, I think I would be there to experience that raucous crowd at Arrowhead Stadium.
Well, would you be on the visitor side or the home side?
Well, I don't know because I don't know which side is which, but I would be there.
You don't know which side is which. Stop saying that.
It's the one labeled visitor behind the It's okay.
I would be. It would be cold, and I'm sure I have my pea coat on, and I have a hoodie on.
As the Barber Shop 918, we would like to boldly predict that the Kansas City Chiefs will handle the Tennessee Titans. That's what we're saying as a collective. All three of us, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I'm sure it's a 2-1 vote. I don't think Raw Dog said yes, so we're gonna leave it at that.
He said yes, and you're saying yes too, because you're not supposed to have any kind of information about the Titans anyway. So
I don't know anything.
You're going for the Kansas City Chiefs.
So
right?
You're a big DeMarco Murray fan from back in his Dallas playing days and other places.
Still have his jersey. Yes, I still have his jersey.
So do you know you got any updates on his injury? Anything? Have you heard anything? Will he be playing
If you watch the Titans Jaguar game from this week, he did not suit up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. He
didn't suit up. So that's all I got to say about that.
All right. So is there any loyalty in? I'm not gonna say.
It's a good segue.
It is. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and accept that segue. We covered both teams. They're going to be playing in the AFC and the potential where they would go. In coming weeks, because we're in no rush to do this, they did reveal the Hall of Fame finalists, and I really do want to discuss who do you think is T.O. going to get in. I really want to have that discussion. We'll do that next week, coming up soon, because it's that man's time to be in the Hall of Fame. And
it's time to shine.
Yeah, I think he should. And I would love to see him go in with Ray Lewis, right?
I want to see those speeches.
Yeah, I would love to see. It's going to be some dirty tears.
I want to see what shade of black is going to be on Ray Lewis' head.
I thought you was going to say his beard.
Will it match? Yeah. Will the curtain match the? Yeah.
Ray finds black from over there in the Orient somewhere. I don't know where he finds his shades of black. But his shades of black is not like the shades of black in America. Say that right now.
Yeah, the name of it is Draymond. All right, so.
Hey, hold on. Dave Chapelle said Draymond Green's name is so black that when you type it in the Airbnb, it automatically logs you out.
Wow.
Chapelle, that is hilarious, man.
Yeah. So it's time for us to get into our hood topic, which is about sports loyalty. Of course, we will not bring up KD in this segment, not one time whatsoever, because we're professionals. Yeah, let's figure this out without mentioning our personal hurts and pains. Did I already ruin that? Well, forget it.
Sir Raw Dogness, aka King of the Pettiness, cannot hold back those thoughts on that man.
You know what? I'm a professional. I'm going to hold back. Let's talk about loyalty in sports.
All right. So I think it starts with, at the college level, it's not being taught. Like, no one has an incentive to go 4 years in college. Like, do you think Trae Young's going to stay in OU for 4 years?
Trae Young has already signed a contract. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
He got 1 foot. He ain't went to class. He's not going to go to class this semester.
No.
Hey, man, you know what? I think AAU specifically has taken the focus off the ball, man, when it comes down to loyalty. AAU is very me specific.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, and it goes beyond basketball too. Like, if you look at baseball, like right now, Eric Hosmer, they just threw a $147 million deal out there to try to trap him in Kansas City in hopes that it's like, hey, you got your ring, just be here and be our next George Brett. Where you got Stanton, who was going to be given the same exact deal to stay in Miami, but New York came knocking and he went and signed where he's going to be the second or third most powerful bat on the team. And he'd rather take, he's chasing the ring and he's chasing a more positive or a bigger media market. So is he protecting his brand? Is it okay for him to do that? So it's like, no matter what sport we reference, whether it's college basketball, whether it's baseball, football, everyone is jumping around. I think maybe hockey players are loyal, but you could lie to us. We don't know.
So here's the thing. If I bring up this one person, Drew's going to go off on a tangent, and I don't care at this point. But the only person that was able to handle his brand, listen, hold on.
Washington Wizards, Michael Jordan. Yes, go for it.
Why you going to go there, man? Handle his brand and was loyal to because he was loyal to the Bears to the end, dude. I mean, literally, he got pushed out of the Bears.
Bulls?
Not Bears. Bulls. Yeah, Bulls.
I was going to say, we talking about Walter Payton? What's going on?
Sweetness did get pushed out, but no.
He did. But Jordan was the only one as far as I can, because that's the dichotomy that you're dealing with is brand versus team. How do I protect my brand or how am I loyal to my team? Because you can't do both. Jordan did. Now, true enough, that was a different time.
Kobe Bryant just did it.
But Kobe was he almost signed the Clippers.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he legit. I don't think Kobe was legit going to sign. I think Kobe's whole deal was, how can I get more money out of the situation? Kobe, he's one of the last of the greats, man. There's no other players that think like Kobe in the league anymore. Everything is very me specific. Yeah. True enough that they're all trying to get together and have that super team, but ultimately it's for each person to win the ring. It's not really about team anymore, you know. So if this not about team anymore, why would they be loyal? That doesn't make any sense. If it's the me generation that we're dealing with, why would they be loyal to one team? And why would a team be loyal to one player? That's the other side of this conversation that has to be explored. It's not even so much, I think like Kyrie Irving is the best example to kind of talk about this. Kyrie demanded a trade because he was going to be traded. So why not, take it out of the team's hand and get something out of it? Did it ultimately screw, was Isaiah Thomas? Yes. To some degree it did. But Kyrie had to do what he had to do in order for him to get something out of it where it would be beneficial to him, and he wouldn't end up in a Paul George-like situation where, Paul George's situation isn't all doom and gloom, but it was sort of like, hey, it was last minute, and he was like, give me somewhere, please. But they were going to dump him to the first bidder. Just so happened Sam Presti gave him something pretty decent, but he was going to be in Brooklyn this year, for some draft picks. That's how Brooklyn do. I don't know where they get all these draft picks from.
They just got them stashed away. You get a draft pick. You get a draft pick. You get a draft pick.
And and it's gonna be lottery. It's always gonna be lottery. But
I don't think we're gonna ever get back to a time where players really are concerned about the team that they're on. We'll never get back to that. That time is long gone. As long as the money being made by the owners in basketball, it's going to always be about individuals. It's never going to be about a team. San Antonio Spurs, to a certain degree, is the only team out there. Yeah, come on now.
They're not only like that. Dude, they traded, was it George Hill for Kawhi Leonard? If they see better talent, they're going to get rid of you. What's the young man? Good.
Let me tell you something. As far as teams go, they are the loyalists.
Probably,
now, are they loyal in general? No. They are the most loyalist if you count the rest of the NBA teams. Because to them, it's not about an individual as much as, well, how are you going to fit into the team? Pop is really the star of the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
Whereas other teams are more player specific. You know what I mean? If we lose Russell right now, we're done for, because the team is built around Russell. It's plain and simple, you know?
And as far with Russell, I mean, we look at it, he just signed that 5-year deal. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years? We don't know if they'll win the championship. We don't know if they'll keep flaming out in the first round, and he may want to have a trade. But when we look at this generation that we're in right now, like we said, it's the AAU generation. I mean, we can say that LeBron started this by going to Miami, but think about it. We want our players to be more than basketball players, right? We want them to have a voice. We don't want them to just go dribble up and down the court and just dunk the ball. Like when LeBron, he said that my contract was over. I was a free agent, so I went to Miami. A lot of people may not like that move because Chris Bosh also came there and they formed up and made the super team, as some would say. And then after that, you had Dwight Howard, who was with the Lakers, and then they tried to trade Chris Paul to the Lakers, but David Stern stopped that. That would have been another super team, but then they brought in Steve Nash. And so each team is, if you look at it in this day and age, everybody's just like teaming up and making these teams. Like, we were kind of upset with what happened last year with the guy we can't mention because we're trying not to talk about it. But then our team came together and put together a big three, as they would say.
Yeah. Now,
and so go ahead.
What happened with them was disgusting, though. And I know I said we're not going to talk about it, but it's like, if you're already a super team, you didn't need to add him.
Thank you.
Anyway. But it's, I think there's another person, and I'm not saying I blame him because I feel like he did the best thing for him, but there is a spoiled athlete mentality that I think, or perception of a spoiled athlete, when certain athletes jump ship when they don't get the team to participate with winning values or with them. So you take like a Marshawn Lynch who decided, okay, I won't play. Barry Sanders deciding, I won't play. You know, if you don't do...
Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. So sometimes teams, especially in the contact sports, are really concerned, well, will he do that? Some people, we now know the backstory of why Jordan set out. But there were, at the time, people thought that, well, Jordan really just went and did the baseball thing because it was more or less, there was backdoor money disputes and other things like that. We now know that wasn't it, but it wasn't always being written that Jordan's decision to sit down was just based off of what he was telling people. So I think that overall, owners are scared that an athlete will up and demand out of contracts, and they're always scared that they're always trying to beat the player to the punch.
Yeah.
And the player's trying to beat the owner to the punch. And what happens is, as the fan, we suffer because, like, Russ's 5-year contract in all reality is a 3-year contract, because the media is going to start talking about Russ being a free agent after next year. Even though he'll have 2 years left, they next year are going to be like, after this season, Russell's going to be a free agent. Will he go to L.A.? Because the Lonzo experience didn't succeed. He's in Lithuania playing with his brothers. So I'm just throwing that out.
That irks me about contracts. And I think I mentioned this before. Growing up, we didn't know what kind of contract Magic Johnson had.
Right.
We didn't know what Michael Jordan had. Like, we didn't know about Michael Jordan's contract until he signed the 1-year deals when he came to the Bulls for a second time. And then even like up until when LeBron left, that's when the first time I heard about contracts. And it just kind of like...
You need to blame that on the journalists, though.
The media does that. Right. They spin a story, And that's the reason why we found out all this stuff about the former small forward for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, we didn't pay any attention to his contract situation until they started bringing it up in interviews. And, are you going to re-sign with the team? Are you going to explore options? Is Golden State going to go after you? Blah, 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 blah. We didn't know any of that stuff until they started bringing it into the mainstream media. We were just casual fans. We're like, hey, they're going to re-sign? But that didn't happen.
Yeah, it used to be. They need more coverage, because when you start saying we're going to cover sports 24 hours a day and we're going to have multiple channels covering it 24 hours a day, you got to create content. And free agency was something that was none of our business. And now all of a sudden it has to be covered. There's days and reporters that are assigned to just finding out that. And they have whole days where it's like, okay, it's countdown to the trade. Like, they've talked about the trade deadline in, was it February this year? They've talked about the trade deadline intensely more than they've talked about any. Like, I've heard so many Paul George trade scenarios because it's a story. Because right now, at this point, the trade deadline doesn't mean much unless we unload Paul George. Then there's a big story. Other than that, it's going to come and go, and they're going to lose something that they've invested into marketing, and it's going to be a lost cause for them.
So I don't think there's any loyalty in the game on either side, man. But the thing is, as much as you say that, we're still going to keep watching.
Yeah,
we're still going to keep watching because it's the best thing in town right now.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: is there any loyalty amongst fans? If you're a Cowboy fan, you have to be a Cowboy fan. You can't just go and grab an AFC team and be like, "Yo, I like this team."
In the age of the burning jersey, there's no way there's such thing as a loyal fan.
You don't think so?
No.
So if I came
people are too quick to burn people's jerseys, man. They're too quick.
If I came on here and I was wearing another number 0, another team's number 0 point guard, another point guard in the league, that team might just be so happen to be up the street, and I start becoming a fan of him and start wearing his shoes. And I'll be like, well, I live here now. I got the right to be a fan. Would y'all be, where would y'all be on that? Fans?
You're a Buster Brown. You're a Buster Brown.
If it's me and Jay, who grew up, in the era where that they took that seriously, we'd be mad. But to a fan that's 21 and below, they wouldn't really care about that. That's how the fans are now.
Because if you notice,
so they're fickle, so they don't get razzled by anybody being fickle.
So it's like now with LeBron James, it's not, all right, go Cavs, go Heat. It's Team LeBron. Yeah. So wherever LeBron goes, whether it's to Brooklyn, Miami again, San Antonio, it's Team LeBron. They would never say the team. They say, LeBron got a ring. Let's go LeBron. They don't say, let's go Cavs. They say, let's go LeBron.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the new fan is loyal to his favorite player, not to the team.
Like, I'm loyal to the Thunder and forget everybody else. Like, I was petty enough during All-Star voting that I actually literally voted for Prince. Why not? Why not? But I think for me, I kind of look at it from the standpoint of I like other players around the league, but at the end of the day, it ain't worth me ever mentioning. Like, I can admire other, I really like Enes Kanter, but at the end of the day, I'm not rooting for him against the Thunder.
Right. Yeah. I like watching LeBron play, but he's not my favorite player. Yeah. You know what I mean? My favorite team is the Thunder team, and I'm riding out them and the Chicago Bulls because that's where I'm from. But Oklahoma City Thunder, this is where I live. This is the culture. That's who I'm cheering for.
Now, would it ever be possible for any of us to say one day, maturely and realistically, that Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players, and he was one of our favorite players to watch? When will we ever be able to admit, and when his whole body of work is done, will we be able to say that we enjoyed the first half of his career or any part of his career? Oh, that leather coat convicts me.
I'm gonna do it right now.
I feel like he went to go get a belt. I feel like he went to go get a belt, and I'm scared. I'm nervous. Like his wife's holding him back. No, Kendra, he got it coming. You know he got it coming.
Come on, baby. gonna convince me. That's funny.
It's time for us to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder and all of their different issues. The Thunder got on a little bit of a hot streak there for a little while, and surprisingly, and we had discussed this a few weeks ago where we were saying the Thunder needed to win some of those games on that stretch of home games that they had, and they did just that. But here recently, they just dropped 2 in a row to the Dallas Mavericks in a game in which they went back and forth, and once again, the Thunder played to the talent of the team. And then we dropped the game, the infamous game. The ref, we didn't drop the game. Because so to me, we had a 7-game winning streak. You understand? Like, that's the way I feel about it.
They had to fight back in that game.
Yeah, we came all the way back, and we should never been down as much as we were down. So the Thunder did,
Bucks
honestly.
Are not that good, man. Bucks are not that good.
No, they're not well coached. They have a ton of talent. And they should be number 3 solid in the East, like without a problem. With the talent they have, they just don't have coaching because, you know, when I look at the Bucks, it's like, why did they not evolve Giannis's 3-point shot? He surprised them and took a few threes last year during the playoffs and elevated them and did some good things. And it looked like his game was evolving at the end of last year. And then he came into this year with all the hype, but didn't elevate his shot. He still doesn't have outside. He's one-dimensional. At the end, Houston knew he could drive him out of bounds because he knew where he was going. He knew he wasn't pulling up for no shot, and that's what Houston did. He drove him out of bounds and drove him to travel for the 5th time in that game.
We took like 7 steps, man.
He traveled so many times in one game.
I could have sworn I heard "Step in the Name of Love" in the background.
Yeah.
Raymond felt he turned around and looked at the referee and did this.
Yeah.
Uncle Raymond.
Yeah, that is. He is Uncle Ray. He's that uncle that gave you your first hit of weed. That's who he is.
That's him. That's him.
You remember when I let you hit that green? Remember when I let you hit that green?
He looked like me out there trying to play basketball.
He does. He really honestly does.
Like, what am I doing out there?
Yep. Yeah, Uncle Ray. So I look at it like this, man. The Thunder, I like what their bench is about. I know that I've heard some of the main commentators say that they're not in love with the Thunder's bench. It's inconsistent. But I promise you, sometimes I feel like they play more consistent ball. It's about Billy. During this injury, the problem is Pete DePuma has such a place with the team that we need him where he's at. We need every piece in order to succeed. When we dropped these 2 games, and I really looked at it from the standpoint of if we would have had a healthy Pete, we would have been
8-game winning streak.
Yeah, we would have been able to do it. But he went out at the end of the Bucks game. He wasn't able to be in the game due to an injury because, you know, the last 2 minutes is money for him because he can't foul.
For those that are seeing this for the first time, would you let them know who Pete DePuma is? Because they don't.
If you look up Pete DePuma, the old school cartoon, how many lumps do you want? And then you look up Andre, number 21, you got the same person. You ain't never seen them in the room at the same time. I know one's a cartoon, one's a real person, but still, he's Pete DePuma. So,
Andre Roberson looks like Pete DePuma.
Pretty much. So it boils down to, for me, it boils down to it that Grant is an absolute monster. Like, I'm thoroughly impressed and excited about what he can do. If Abrines learns how to play defense, he won't be a liability. And honestly, the only thing I asked for Christmas, that's it, only thing, and Santa Draws did not come through, is I wanted you know who off the team. Cal Singler. And
he's still
there.
Oh,
he's the white Marvin Lewis, sir.
He's like a cockroach inside of a Twinkie. You know, in the middle of a, like, he won't die. Nothing will happen. He has a nice Twinkie shell around him. He can survive a nuclear holocaust.
I'll never eat another Twinkie for the rest of my life.
Because it's a Cal Singler in there, just looking at you. Surviving. Yeah, with an ugly jump shot. Just that.
I'm gonna get them Swiss cake rolls. Little Debbie.
All right, but what else? It's about time for us to wrap it up. What else? We got a few minutes.
The Rockets are on a losing streak, right? Well, they just won tonight, but they were on a losing streak.
Ain't Harden hurt?
And everyone saw this one coming because James Harden said he played through knee pain. And, anytime you got a knee issue, you're going to then turn around and get another injury. And he played through knee pain, and now he has a level 2 hamstring injury, which basically means they won't evaluate him. They're going to wait to evaluate him for 2 weeks. So that doesn't mean he's going to be back in 2 weeks. So you could be looking for an extended amount of time without him. And in the meantime, you got the Clippers making a come up. Lou Williams down there playing like he young.
Balling.
They call him Sweet Lou. Yeah, is it Pretty Lou or Sweet Lou?
It's one of them.
Sweet Lou.
It's got to be both. It probably both of them. You see this grade of hair he got? It's got to be both. Ain't he
got that Matt Barnes hair.
He's got an A1 grade of hair, sir.
Yeah.
He looks Puerto Rican.
He is. He looks like he's...
Is he Puerto Rican? He might be.
I don't know.
Hey, wasn't Will Smith's daddy named Sweet Lou on The Fresh Prince? Wasn't his name Sweet Lou?
No, man. It was just Lou.
Was it just
Lou?
Oh, okay. You can't call... Yeah, you can't call... Because the way he wore his hat, ain't nothing sweet about that. You can't...
So what you said, you can't call a deadbeat dad sweet?
Nah.
Ain't nothing wrong the way Lou wears his hat. I wear my hat that way, man. It's cold outside.
That's like when just your ears ain't cold, just the top of your head.
Just the crown, right? It just happened.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ben Ring.
I know why, but see, you got that leather coat to hike up like that, like you got the juice now, and you hike that up, and it covers your ears. That's why you wear yours Marvin Gaye style.
I don't wear a leather jacket when it's cold, man. I mean,
you don't want to let snow get on it. I got you.
Sorry about that, sir.
Turn this way. All right, so final cut time. Unless you guys got anything else around the league.
It's final cut time. Go ahead, Jay.
This past Monday, we witnessed the end of a great collegiate football career in Baker Mayfield. A lot of people are...
I'm sorry. You said Baker Mayfield. My bad. Go ahead.
We witnessed the end of a great collegiate football career in Baker Mayfield.
There you go.
The Sooners lost 54-48 to the Georgia Bulldogs. A lot of people he rubbed the wrong way. They didn't like that he won the Heisman. They didn't like that he's still on the team after the incident with Kansas. But people don't know the backstory. He grew up. He was a chubby kid who was told he would never be a quarterback. He became a quarterback, took his high school to a state championship. He didn't get the offers that he was looking for in college. He had one offer for a full ride scholarship in a D1 school. He didn't like that, so he walked on to Texas Tech. He succeeded at Texas Tech, but then he got hurt, and they told him that he wouldn't be able to be starting quarterback. So he walked on to OU and became a legend at OU. He's my all-time favorite Oklahoma Sooner player. And despite not being able to win a national championship, what are you looking at? Despite being able to win a national championship, I'll say that it's going to be a long time before we see another player that is just like Baker Mayfield. In the last 10 years, him and Jameis Winston are probably like the only players that play with that much intensity that their players love them. A lot of people will say they didn't like it, but I loved it. I look forward to Baker Mayfield having a career in the NFL. I don't know if it'll be a successful career, but I look forward to seeing his passion and drive on the field. And that's all I got to say. And like I say every week, winners win and losers lose. They all find a way to do what they do. It's your boy, J Rock, rocking the goatee, and I'm out, baby.
Hey, man. It's a new year, clean slate. Everybody says that. I'm going to start anew this year, man. I'm going to start anew. I'm going to forget whatever happened in the year before, and I'm going to start brand new. I mean, that's all good and well, and seems like a nice thing to say. But to be quite honest with you, man, every day that you wake up, you're starting over, man. And you don't want to forget what's in your past, because what's in your past taught you how to get through your present. So instead of making this about a whole brand new year, it's a clean slate. Every day that you wake up and get out that bed, thank God that you're still here, and start that day as if it's a whole brand new day. In other words, every day of the year should be New Year's Day. You treat it as such. With that, don't tell God about your big problems. Tell your problems you got a big God. And I'm out.
All right, so I'm going to give my final cut or make a dedication in my final cut to my wife's grandmother. I called her Granny, and she was a great woman. Like, she was a woman that loved. And like anyone's grandmother, when you hear stories and everything, I met her once she was Granny, which was great because I didn't have to ever get a whooping or get, or anything like that. I was already grown when I met her, and so all I ever really experienced was her peace and her love. And I love the way she always had peace about situations. And so it kind of just makes me say that I hope that one day that I will be known, and that will be a part of my legacy, that I could be a person who was a peacemaker, a person who went about their life and did things in a way that it really didn't matter who I was or what I used to do or anything like that. I am just, people know me as a person who wanted to keep peace. So with that being said, love you, Granny. And like you would always, I'm not going to sign off the way I normally sign off. I'm going to do it the way that you would always hang up the phone and say, peace, shalom. Sometimes she would say Granny out, but I think I might be making that up. And I used to say she said that, but she didn't. But maybe, I don't know. But so that was a good show, fellas. I hope Adrian Peterson wasn't watching that. He might choke on one of them Billy Sims ribs when he heard.
Number 2. He's number 2.
No, okay.
Billy Sims ribs. And Billy Sims got some good ribs, man.
Does he?
Boomer Q.
I feel bad for him though, because he's not making no money off that, right? You know that, right? Is he making any money off that?
I don't know. Honestly, I thought I don't like the taste of it, so I went in. You feel like they just paid him for his name, and they let him hang around the stores
Pretty
and get free
much.
food.
Yeah.
Like, I was in the store once, and he came in and started wiping counters down. No, I'm not lying. I'm not making that up. And I had no clue who he was, and I'm not from Oklahoma, so it was like when I first moved there, and the guy at the counter was like, "That's Billy," and I'm like, "Okay, he owned the place. He should be here." And then later on, I was like, then I found out, okay, he won one Heisman. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's Billy. Hey, Billy, go clean the tables off, bro. Yes, sir. No disrespect. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's just the way I see Billy, unfortunately. Sorry,
Jay,
Billy.
No comment from Jay. All right, well,
You like Billy Sims barbecue, Jay?
It's cool.
Do you know Billy?
I don't know him personally, but I know his barbecue.
You acting like you know him personally, so you feeling uncomfortable.
I just text him. I told myself I was gonna stop lying in 2018. Darn.
You can find us at www.barbershop.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Buzzsprout. Just Google us. You'll find us. We're out there. We're always out there. Shout out to all the barbershop heads that's been listening to us from day one. This is episode, which one? This is episode
90?
80.
89?
80, is it 90?
89.
So what we gonna do for episode 100, man? We gonna do like something
We almost there, you know what I'm saying?
Shirts versus skins.
I don't want to be skins. I got body issues.
I love myself.
I wear a t-shirt to the pool.
You heard that Dave Chapelle special. We gonna go down. Have all kinds of
Episode
people.
89. Episode 89.
Is this 89?
89.
Okay.
This is the Steve Smith episode.
This
This is the Marvin Lewis episode.
Yeah, it is.
He should have got fired 89 different times.
That is true, sir. Shout out to
man.
you. Literally are the man, dude. When I grow up, I want to be just like you.
I'm gonna get a T-shirt with his face on, and it's gonna say, "I was looking for a job when I found this one." You wear a shirt like that, they won't fire you. It's that mind trick, you know.
He didn't found the Holy Grail, man.
It's not the Jedi mind trick; it's the Marvin Lewis mind trick.
Somehow he know how to wait and let white folks keep him on, man. He must be like one of them Jolly Brothers around the office. They make him like.
And we're out.
Yeah, that's gonna get bad.